Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to episode 8 of Gal and Kitten Knittin. I am Gal. You can find me on Twitter, Ravelry, and Instagram at Gallialvia. I'll put that down here.
And this is Kitten. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, and Twitter as at SpaceKitten3000. And you can also find our podcast Twitter at GAK Knittin, right?
Gak Knittin.
Gak Knittin. We'll also put it down here and in the show notes. You can find us there as well on Twitter. Yeah. So, as always, thank you for joining us. We're really excited. If you are a new viewer, which I know that we have had some new subscribers since our last video, and we're so excited, and we thank you so much for subscribing and watching us. And a lot of you we met at DFW Fiberfest, which was such a pleasure to meet you, and we thank you for chatting with us there and subscribing to our channel.
Yeah, we had a blast.
It was so fun.
So much fun.
And if you are a returning viewer, hello again, and thank you for coming back.
Absolutely.
So as you can see, we're in yet a new location, just like last time.
Different place.
Yes. We are at Robbers Cave State Park in Oklahoma. And we're doing a little weekend getaway with us and our husbands. They're in the other room.
As she said earlier, we're glamping it.
Yes, we're glamping.
I had never heard of this before.
I know.
But apparently it's like glamorous camping, where you're not actually camping.
I said glamping, and everybody thought that was great. And I was like, should I just run with it and let them think that I made this up? But I couldn't do it.
She had to give credit where credit was due. But we're glamping this weekend.
Yes, we are.
So even though we're camping and enjoying the outdoors, you know, we've had nice accommodations.
We have, yeah.
And okay, you guys, just sorry right now. I've totally got like horrible voice right now, and I may have to grab a cough.
It's kind of like sexy gravelly though. Yeah, I got that sexy
baby.
gravelly voice.
We had a bonfire last night outside, and I guess I don't know if the smoke got to me or if I'm actually getting sick. But it's caused a lot of like flare up like in my asthma and stuff. So I'm having a very difficult time not coughing.
So there will be cough drops.
So there will probably be some cough drops at some point, and I apologize for that. But
yeah,
we wanted to give you guys a new episode this week.
Yeah. So it's raining today, unfortunately. Yesterday was really nice. We got here in the afternoon, and it was really nice out, and we had dinner, and then we, set up a bonfire, and we did take our knitting out. We didn't have a lot of daylight hours left by that time, though, so we didn't get a chance to knit very much. No. But we had our quilts, and we went out there and just hung out, inhaled smoke from the bonfire.
We did inhale.
Yeah.
Because it was blowing right in our faces.
Right. And then today, it's been raining, actually, but it's not the worst thing to be in a cabin with a fire and knitting and having some wine and hanging out with people that you enjoy being around.
Absolutely.
So we really can't complain.
No.
So, we're just enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's been nice. It's a pretty place.
Yeah.
I might be turning outdoorsy.
She is kind of turning outdoorsy,
you
guys. It's been funny. She's been going, ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at this. And we're going, what is happening?
I was like, let's climb these rocks.
She's like totally in full-on outdoor mode.
It's not me at all.
It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a glamper. She's a glamper. And so this has been really
on the way up, Gal was like, well, okay, so the cabin we're staying in, we don't have our own bathroom. We have like a community bathroom. And I was like, okay. And in my head, I'm like, keep cool. You don't want to be prissy. Like, just like be totally chill about it and just be like, okay, yeah. And she was totally kidding because our cabin does have a bathroom.
Like, has a bathroom, came with like
shower,
soap
all of that.
And all
but I was just like, Kitten, you need to remain cool. Like, you cannot let on that you don't want to use a community bathroom.
I was totally pulling her leg. Because I knew it would bother her. But and then as soon as I said it, I was like, just kidding, by the way. Totally pulling your leg.
Yeah.
Couldn't let that one ride.
Yeah. But
so, yeah. And so we are you know, in the last episode from DFW Fiber Fest, we got these lovely wine glasses from Knitby Pearl.
You can't see what they say, but we showed you last time.
Yeah.
So
3 sheets to the wind.
Yeah, we made sure to... I texted Gal and I was like, I'm bringing my sheep wine glass. And she's like, I thought the same thing. So,
yeah, I did. I was like, yeah, we need to have our wine glasses.
So I'm enjoying some red this rainy afternoon.
And I'm enjoying some white this rainy afternoon. The cold kind of helps soothe my throat, actually.
Yeah.
So
I hope it's just because of the smoke last night and not getting sick.
I do too, because sick is no fun.
No.
I feel like I'm due to be sick though.
Maybe
so
it's just what I had a few weeks ago.
Maybe.
That just throat grossness.
Maybe.
That's going around.
Yeah. So sock cowl, we have a sock cowl going on right now. We are doing it through the end of this month. And we'll talk a little bit more about our projects and where we are in that here in a little bit. But we do have a sock cowl. Go to our Ravelry page. We have 2 feeds. We've got just a chatter feed for people to discuss what they're doing, post pictures, etc. And then we actually have a final object project page. So make sure that whenever you finish your socks, go over there to that finished object. Final object. Finished object page and upload a picture of it because we would love to see what it looks like.
And that's where we will draw our winner from as well.
Yeah.
Well, do they have to be finished? We didn't really discuss that.
Finished objects?
For the winner of the cowl. The socks have to be finished, I guess.
I would like to see a hoe, if not a finished object. I would like at least one finished sock.
We need a hoe, you guys.
We need a hoe. Needs to happen. But... you know, that way, we can see, you know, your progress and, and cause we've had some time because we've, been working on other projects, so we extended it. So, you know, I have a hoe, so I figure at this point in time, other people may have hoes too. So.
But you still have 1 week.
Yeah. You still have another week to get it cranked out. So if you haven't joined, feel free to join. We would love to see everybody's
Absolutely.
works. Everybody's. Yeah. So.
Which I guess we can just transition into finished objects.
Yeah.
And
Kitten has a pair of socks.
I will talk about my socks.
She has 2, you guys.
I have 2. I finished them. So, these are the Simply Splendid socks. Is that what they're called?
Simply Splendid sock pattern by Neatby.
Yes, from the Craftsy class. And I had one finished last podcast episode, but we didn't really talk about our whips and our FOs and things like that. So, but I did have one finished at that time. And I actually got the second finished in 1 weekend. I was just determined. I did nothing.
She cranked it out.
Yeah, I did nothing else, but I cast it on a Friday, and I think I actually cast off on a Monday.
So what was your sock recipe?
I used a size 1 56 inch, or size 1 needle, 56 stitches is what I did. Yeah.
56 inches, okay.
Yeah, I got big foot.
You got big foot.
Speaking of, one of them is a tad longer. This one, which is my second one, is a tad longer. I think I made the foot just a little bit longer because I actually didn't measure or count how many rows I did on the first one. Well, okay. I measured when I started doing the toe decreases, but I didn't write it down because I thought I could count on my memory. And I didn't. I couldn't count on my memory. So I just kind of had to do like I did on the first one and just kind of put it on and decide then when to do my toe decreases. And I think I just did it I went a little longer on this one. They both fit fine. It's not that much of a difference between the two. But when I put them on the blocker, I could definitely tell the toe was a little, there's a little extra on the toe. Speaking of the toe, the first one I did on the Craftsy class, she recommends you do, and this is the method she shows you how to do, is the toe chimney. And so that's what I did because I was just going to follow the class. And I really felt that I did the toe chimney just right. Like, I didn't have a problem with it. I followed the instructions. It did seem a little weird to me, the whole process, but because I had never knit socks before, I didn't know otherwise, like, you know, how it differed from other ways to do a toe. And so basically you just get a contrast yarn and you knit up a few rows, like 5 or 6 rows. And then you stitch it together, but they're already stitched. But anyway, you pull out that contrasting yarn and
from the toe chimney,
and your toe is already there because you've kind of double stitched those toe stitches. I don't know if that's an accurate way or if that makes any sense. Anyway, when I pulled the contrasting yarn out, my stitches were still live. Yeah, which is not the way it's supposed to work at all. And I went back and reread the instructions, and I still don't know what I did wrong. At the time, I felt like I did it correctly, and looking back, I still felt like I did it correctly, so I don't know what I did. Obviously, I didn't do something correctly. So I kind of just, like, fudged it and just kind of, like, stitched them up at that point, because I had these live stitches, and it kind of freaked me out because I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't want to drop any of them, and I wasn't prepared to have live stitches. So I was kind of just like, oh no, and, you know, kind of just tried to deal with it. So my toe on my first one is a little wavy, like there's little lumps, but it's okay. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me that much. So then I, Googled and YouTubed other ways to do your toe. And most people were like, just Kitchener it. Yeah. And I was like, why? That seems so much easier. I don't know why that wouldn't be what she suggested on the class. So that's what I did on my second one. I just Kitchenered it. I had no problem with it. It was fine, and it was so much easier than the toe chimney. And it was funny. I went to my local yarn store, and I was talking about doing my first sock, and because I was looking for a tapestry needle that would be small enough to go through the stitches of the toe. And I was telling them why I was looking, because she was like, oh, I just use a crochet hook. And I was like, well, they're telling me to do a toe chimney. And she was like, I have knit lots of socks and have never heard of doing a toe chimney. So I was like, oh.
Yeah, that makes that really reassures you. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I Kitchenered the second one, and it was fine. And I think this is the second one. And they actually don't look that different. Wait. I don't know which is the second one now. They're still not seamless like they should look, but I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm just happy that I have 2 socks.
2 socks. You got a pair of homemade socks.
So I'm really excited. This will not be my first and only pair. I know that I will knit more. Yeah. Because I did buy the stripy yarn. Yeah. So I would definitely do a stripy pair, and I think it'll just be something that I might always have a pair of socks going and just work on them. Like last night when we were at the bonfire, I brought out a project and it was getting dark, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to read my pattern. I should have cast on a pair of socks so I could just do stockinette out here and not really need a lot of light, because there's no way that I was going to be able to like read my pattern and also mark my pattern out there.
I have a hair on my face.
So yeah. So anyway, FO, my socks. So I'm glad for that. And then the only other FO, I think a couple podcasts ago, I had one done, but I got my honeydew mitts done. And I love them. I've worn them once. I wore them actually at Fiber Fest because it was cold one day when we were there. So I got both of them done, and they're just so nice, and they were really easy, and I think for how easy they were, the effect is really nice with the pattern, and it was worsted again, so it went really fast.
And they're so nice. Those look cute.
I really like them. They're just, like I said before, I wish that I had made these at the beginning of fall because I could have worn them.
Sure.
I think I would have wore these. Not only are they just a gray that I can put on no matter what coat I'm wearing, no matter what I'm wearing. I just have these, it's something you can just put in your bag and always know that, they'll go.
Yeah.
They're just a little warmer because they're worsted, and I feel like the pattern on it gives it a nice cushy feel that just feels warmer. But anyway, yeah, so I finished these, and again, they're the Honeydew Mitts by, I don't remember, Alicia Plummer. But yeah, I really like these, and I'm a friend of ours asked if I would make her a pair, so I'm going to make her a pair at some point.
Very nice.
Maroon or wine or something like that. Burgundy of some sort. So yeah, those are my FOs. So.
I have no FOs.
You got a hoe?
I got a hoe.
You a hoe?
I'm not a hoe. I
got a hoe.
I got a hoe. So I did finish one of my socks. I just kind of decided that I needed to finish one and be happy about it. So, here's my sock.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Kitten
I love it.
She was telling me the trials and tribulations of her toe chimney, etc. And so I just decided, I've Kitchenered before, so it was not intimidating to me. So I just decided at that point when she was having such trouble with it that I was just going to Kitchener the toe and be done with it. I'm kind of curious, does anybody out there turn their sock inside out to Kitchener the toe, or because it's supposed to be a seamless, do you just Kitchener it on the outside and be done with it? So I'm kind of curious what everybody does. Because I feel like for the most part, mine is pretty seamless. I think I'm just feeling the decreases, and that's why I'm kind of scratching my head over the fact that it's not as seamless as I would like it to be.
And there was a video suggested to us in our Ravelry group of a really good video for Kitchener. And that's the one I used. And they didn't say to turn it inside out, so I didn't. Yeah. But I don't know
that you would have to.
I don't know if you're supposed to or if it matters.
I don't know that it does.
I think I didn't because my socks were already on the needles, so I knew I was going to have to take my work off the needles, I guess.
So you guys, I broke a needle. I had the Knit Picks double pointed needles, and I guess they're birch needles. And so I'm doing the decreases on the toe, and my knit two together were really tight. And as I'm knitting down here, I guess I was using this to kind of torque it, and it snapped. I grabbed hold of it too hard and it snapped in my hand, and it didn't feel great when it snapped, but I broke a needle and had to replace.
I thought I was going to do the same thing, but mine was with my decreases for the slip knit side were so tight. Yeah. And when I was trying to get the yarn through the two slip stitches, I just felt like I was bending that needle. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to break one of these.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised I didn't.
My sock recipe is similar to Kitten's. We both are on doing 56 stitches, right? But I am using a size 0 needle on mine. So that's where I got gauge for mine was size 0. So that's where I am right now.
I'm wondering if, because, that sock yarn that I bought is not very stretchy. So did you feel like these stretched over your foot?
These do not really stretch.
They don't? Okay. Because I was wondering if I had, because of the yarn I used, if it would be different.
No, I mean it is pretty stretchy. This is stretchy.
But the ribbing's always going to be a little stretchy.
I mean, it is, and I haven't blocked this yet, you guys. I just threw it on the blocker. I mean, it is stretchy, but I feel like it's pretty tight over my foot. Yeah. So maybe I do need to go up to I don't know, a different size, but
I really do. I have a really wide foot though. And I also have a longer foot. I wear a size 8.5 shoe. And I do have a wide foot. So, it doesn't surprise me as far as the foot width, that I would need to go to a size 1 rather than a size 0. Just because the width of my foot.
So, socks, I do.
And she did decide to do a contrast toe.
I did do a contrast toe. So, the yarn is from Lamb Strings Yarn. It is her Wrath colorway with her Visceral colorway. I got this as a sock set. I think it was the Winterberry sock set.
I think so,
And, yeah, I love the combination together. So, I'm really
It's really
happy
pretty.
about it.
I like it a lot, too.
Yeah. So,
it's a good one.
I'm excited to do my next sock. I want to get through, I'm just going to kind of go on to my next in progress. You guys, I kind of waffled back and forth whether to show this to you or not this week because I am so close to being done. It is the What the Fade by Andrea Mowry. I am so close to being done that I just kind of went, well, should I just hold on to it until the next episode and just be done with it and show it to you guys? I am on let me see if I can get it on the right side.
We won't mind seeing it twice because it's so pretty. It's twice as nice.
It is twice as nice. So I'm in the middle of a row right now, so it's not going to show very well. But I am on the final fade of the colors in this shawl.
So pretty.
And once I'm done with the fade, I've got like 10 rows, 5 back and forth, so 10 in total of the pink color. And then I've got to do the I-cord edging. And then I'll be done once I get the tassels on. And then I'll be done, actually. So I have a few more things I have to do.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, you guys. But, so it's really close to being done. This has been it is such a project. And how some of these people are cranking these out, I'm so impressed. Because it takes 30 minutes just to do one row. Probably a little longer than that right now because the rows are getting up to like 500 stitches per row.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's quite long and I've been working on this, I know since the beginning of February, maybe since the end of January, that I've been working on this. So it's been a few months. So I'm ready to have it done so I can wear it and enjoy it.
And cast on something new.
And so I can cast on something new because I do try to knit fairly monogamously, just because I feel like things will get done quicker if I just focus on one thing. I know I've got a couple of projects kind of going on the side, but really my focus has been this guy. So this is where I've been working on, and I was
yesterday she had on like a black shirt and I was like, this would be, and then she had on like turquoise color Converse and I was like, this would have been so cute, like just to have that, with your black, and then the pop of color on your shoes, it would have been so cute.
So my goal had been to get it done for this weekend so that we could take pictures out here in the cave with it. That obviously didn't happen. I've still got probably 10 hours of work left to do on this guy. Probably longer than that with the I-cord edging and tassels.
Yeah.
So I probably got rough guess, probably about 15 hours.
And then you have to do your tassels. You said that, didn't you? Did you say tassels? Okay, sorry.
So it's all right. So I've got about 15 hours of work left to do in this guy, but.
Now, does a tassel go on each end and then the middle? So 3 tassels?
3 tassels.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, each in the point.
Yeah. So, now, what color are you going to do, the tassels? Do you know?
Do it in a fade.
Oh, okay.
You use all the colors that you have and you just do each of them as a fade. Yeah. So, fortunately for me, what's funny is I got enough yarn based upon what the pattern said, and one of the skeins of yarn that I had already balled up, I actually ended up not even touching. Mm-hmm. So I need to double check. I think I've got enough of that yarn that I won't need to touch it even with the tassels.
Nice.
So I'll have some extra yarn, which darn, because I love working with this yarn, y'all. It is the Hatbox colorway by Mrs. Crosby Loves to Play. Mm-hmm. And the Peacock colorway is what I have left over. So it'll be
which was one of your favorite colors.
It was one of my favorites. It's what my Butter Mellow hat is made out of. That colorway. It's a different yarn, but
now which one is it on this?
So it is this guy right through here. This kind of teal blue.
Yeah, it's so pretty
color through here.
Yeah.
So
pretty.
Yeah, so I'm really excited by how this is turning out. I think it's going to be gorgeous when it's done.
I can't wait to see it when it's done.
Yeah. So I'm excited, and that's where I am on that. How are your projects coming?
They're going good. I've kind of been going through, I had a few whips that have been kind of just snoozing in the background of my creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to get through, there were 4 that I had that I just wanted to get done. And then I would feel better about casting on something new.
Yeah.
Because I told myself with all the yarn I bought at DFW that I wasn't going to let myself cast on anything with any of that yarn until I finished a couple of the projects that I already had going. Sure. My socks being one of them, and then this whip being the other. And I've been working on this since January, but it actually would not take me that long. It's just that I've been setting it aside to do other things.
Sure.
But it's the Pucks Tunic by Susanna IC. I have 1 panel done, and I'll show you.
You want me to hold on to that?
Yeah, my wine.
Okay.
I have 1 panel done, and this is blocked as well. So it'll probably cover my face, but I'll go ahead and hold it up. And it's really pretty.
Yeah,
so this is blocked, and the lace is showing up really well. And this is out of the Juniper Farms Zoe DK. It's linen and cotton. It's the one that I always said felt like dental floss when I was using it, when I was knitting with it. Blocked, it feels so nice. It's going to be really good. It blocked out really well. And it's going to be great for summer. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to, this was the reason why I can't talk. This was one of the first things I wanted to finish because it's a sleeveless kind of cap sleeve top that you wear like a camisole or something underneath. So I wanted to make sure, it's actually upside down, it goes this way. So I wanted to make sure I had it done by summer so I could actually wear it.
And enjoy it.
Yeah, so this is the first panel blocked, and then I am this far into the second panel.
So you're making strides.
I am, yeah. My goal is to have it done by the end of the month.
And you've actually planned out.
Yes, I know how many rows I need to do a day to get it done. Now that's not including blocking and seaming, which will, this is just to have it knit by the 30th of April. So I still, I didn't knit much yesterday. I just knit a couple rows yesterday outside. So I am a day behind, but I think I can make that up this afternoon and evening. So yeah, so I got this. And I don't think it'll be any problem for me to get it done by the end of the month. And
it's pretty colors.
Yeah. It's not
colors.
It's springy. It's not gray or purple or black.
Yeah.
I think it'll be pretty. But like I said before, I'm probably still going to wear it with gray or black pants, but that's okay. That's just what I do.
That's the way she rolls.
So yeah, I am enjoying that. And then the only other thing I have is, I don't think I've talked about this. I'm doing the Flora Cardi by, let me look at my notes, Carrie Boswick Hoge. I think that's how you say it. And it is a very springtime cardigan. It's a batwing shape, and it's it's short sleeve. It's not exactly cap sleeves, but I think that the intention is for the sleeves to go to about here. It has a batwing shape. It's out of lace weight, and I stopped in the middle of the row. Boo. Let me see if I can get this.
Makes it difficult to show when we stop in the middle of rows.
So it's out of lace weight yarn, and I'm actually using Madeline Tosh lace in the colorway composition book. Composition Book Gray, I think it's called. And it's just essentially a stockinette, except on each side it has these lace panels. So I have really, with knitting this and knitting the Puck's tunic, I've come to realize I do enjoy knitting lace. Not necessarily lace weight yarn, but knitting lace patterns, lace work patterns. And I thought I hated lace, actually, because I tried using this yarn previously, and I don't even remember what pattern I was doing it, but I hated it. I felt like I was knitting with cobwebs, and I was like, lace weight is the worst. It's not for me. But I had like almost 1,000 yards of this, and I was like, I
need to do something with that.
I need to do something. It's, it's really pretty, gray, purple into this white, I really liked the color. And, I saw this pattern. Well, I searched for patterns, actually. And so I was like, I'm just going to try this cardigan. And it must have been the pattern that I tried to do before, which just I wasn't enjoying it. Because I am really enjoying this. And I actually bought more lace weight yarn at DFW. Mm-hmm. From Round Table. Yes. I think that's where I bought my lace weight from. Yes. And then in acquisitions, I'll show you some more lace weight that I bought. But this is what, those are the two things I've been working on. Like I said, my goal is to have the Puck's tunic done by the end of this month. And I really want to have this done by the end of May. I think it'll be too hot by then to even want to wear a cardigan. I'll just want to wear tank tops, but... Yeah.
Maybe if you go into the office or anything like that, you'll
something like that. Yeah. And those are really the only two things I've been working on. I will show this, though. And if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw it the other day. But I've been doing sewing here and there. And I made this giant project bag with Peter Pan. Peter Pan project bag. Yep. I love Peter Pan. I love the story. But it's also my favorite Disney film. And always has been since I was little. But yeah, Gal actually bought the same fabric and did a
I'll show it here in a second. I've actually got it next to me.
But yeah, so it's really big. I kind of didn't know how, I wanted a big bag so that it could fit a sweater. But it's very giant. You can't see my head. And then they did the Progress Keeper swap that they did at DFW. I actually got a fairy charm that had purple, and I don't know if I can get it to where you can see it, but it's this little fairy. So I went ahead and put that on there for the zipper pull.
Looks like Tinkerbell.
Yeah. And then it has this cute lining inside, which has, compass, and it actually has Tinkerbell in a jar.
It's also part of the Peter Pan.
Yeah, it's the Peter Pan series, and it has the little teepees and Tinkerbell from when Hook captures her, and it has the second star to the right and all of that. And it's actually what this thing is made out of too. So yeah, I made that and I'm really happy with it. It's cute. Yeah. So yeah, those are my things I've been making. It's been hard lately. I know you've kind of been, I can take my wine now. All right. We're both kind of getting into sewing and have sewn things. But there's been a couple of things that I've really wanted to sew, but then I'm like, do I spend my spare time? Because I also work full time, but I'm like, do I sew or knit? I don't know which one.
Getting pulled in creative
I want to do, because I've also been trying to sew some clothes, and again, I posted a picture of a camisole that I made, and I was really happy with it, and then I wanted to make that bag. But then I'm like, all that time I'm sewing, I could knit. It's hard when you want to make all the things. Even if they're, I want to make all the knit things, but I also want to make all the things.
All the things. I know.
Splitting your time is hard when you have adult things you have to do.
When life
work and
when life says
clean your house.
Do these things, and you're just like, I don't want
when you have to do the dishes and work and go to the grocery store, and all you want to do is knit or sew.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. So...
Yeah. But yeah, show yours.
So this is what I made, and I will tell you, it was kind of interesting because, so mine is yours the same color? No, hers is
Mine's
the dark
a little
blue.
darker, yeah.
And mine is the light purple. The inside is that same fabric.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think about the fact that, it was going to be upside down. So my front is actually upside down. My back is right side up. I didn't really plan it because I'm not a very, I'm a very novice sewer.
No, normally patterns will tell you if you need to be aware of like directional prints, but I don't think that one did.
Nope, it definitely did not. So there's a pouch there for goodies, and then there's a pouch here for goodies. I learned a lot on this one. Like, follow your directions and pay attention to what the directions say. Don't interpret what you want to interpret. No, I ended up putting the snap in the wrong place. And I had to subsequently, like, rip out the stitching here and everywhere else to get it was a pain. But I got it fixed, and my top stitching was much better the second go around, so it needed to happen anyway.
Yeah, my top stitching is not great.
Yeah.
That's something I still need to work on is top stitching.
Yeah. Not the best.
When you can't see the stitching, it's fine, but when it's supposed to look nice,
when you can see the stitching,
it's a little harder.
Yeah.
It has to be all nice and straight. Which, it's so funny. We, when we first decided that we wanted to do project bags, we were looking on Etsy at fabric, and we were kind of texting one another about ones that we saw that we really liked. And we actually both really liked the Peter Pan fabric. I don't remember which one of us texted first, but the other was like, oh my gosh, I like that one too.
Yeah.
So then we went to a quilting store, relatively close, I guess, within the area. And as soon as we walk in, we're like, oh, they have that Peter Pan fabric we both liked. And we literally high-fived in the store.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we ended up both buying the Peter Pan fabric there because it was one of the ones we both really liked on Etsy.
Yeah.
So
it's just whimsical and magical, and who doesn't like that?
Yeah, and somebody on Instagram told me that she made a quilt out of the Peter Pan fabric. I was like, oh my gosh, that would have been so cute.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was whips.
Acquisitions.
What do you have? You've got some good ones.
Yeah, I do. So
mine are all, one of mine is kind of boring, but one's kind of cool. But I'll let you go first.
As I said, I snapped my double pointed needles, so I decided to go out and buy new needles. So I got the ChiaoGoo twist red lace, the size 000 through 1.5. So that is 1.5 millimeters to 2.5 millimeters. So these guys, y'all, are so tiny, so tiny. But the cables are amazing, and I love the cables, and hopefully this will keep me from snapping myself again.
Now, if you snap those metal needles, I'm gonna be like, this woman is
Hulk. She-Hulk. So obviously these are not double pointed needles, so I'll have to go back to doing magic loop, which is fine with me.
Which is what you like anyway.
It is what I like, and I was just kind of doing double point to get since the pattern was calling for double point, I needed to figure out how I transition that into magic loop and interpret those stitches. So I think I've done that now that I've gotten through the first sock, because I did end up switching back to double points on that one at one point. And so we'll come back and use these guys for the second sock. Then, y'all, I did a bad thing. I did a very bad thing. Oh, you know what?
Is that not the right one?
No, it is, but there's a fourth that I didn't bring. So, when I went to buy those needles, I also asked my local yarn store if they had any Leon Alexander yarns, because I decided Kitten sent me a pattern, which is I'm going to mispronounce this and I apologize, the Shusui Shrug. Which I'm sure you guys have seen before. It looks very much like the fade, but in shrug form, like with arms
it has
and
like
stuff. It's like battling arms.
Yeah, it has oh my gosh, ribbed cuffs that you can put
like long ribbed cuffs that go into but
it still has the tassels and stuff. But I saw it on the Crazy Sock Lady podcast, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to send this to Gal. I know she'll love it.
Yeah,
and she almost instantly bought the pattern.
I think I did pretty much instantly buy the pattern, and then I was trying to decide what I could do for yarn. So that same day, I looked at my husband and I said, we need to go to the yarn store. I need to buy needles for socks. And I want to see if they have any of these. So I looked through the store and I didn't see any of Logan's yarn there. So I asked. And she said, well, sure. I just got a new shipment in. And she pulls out this big, huge bag. And I just start going through this bag of stuff to see what I can find. And I ended up getting enough for the Shusui Shrug. So this is the Parisian... I am not French. Parisian garden. Parisian garden is what it means. And this is from Paris with Love collection. It is also on the Countess Fingering. And I am planning on pairing these two together for the brioche section. This is going to be the main color throughout the body. And then it's going to be paired with this underneath it. Let me hold these up and see if they can get a little bit better in the light here. So it's a nice contrast there. And then this is the Pink Lady from his Inspirations collection. Also on the Countess Fingering. Now this guy is like the little rogue. He is a single ply. So he is not the normal Countess Fingering. This is air, like H-E-I-R. This is the air single ply. And I am planning on using this for my contrast I-cord on all of this guy. So this is going to be down around the bottom of it. So I'm really excited to use this yarn. It's not anything that I've used before, but it's 100% superwash merino. This is the Golden Prosperity from the Legend of the Koi collection. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I was just
it matches your shirt you're wearing right now, like almost exactly.
Y'all, we've been talking about I'm into yellows right now, which is just bizarre for me. But it is the blue hair. That's exactly what it is. But these three colors just called to me, and I was like, gimme. And my husband was so sweet because he very grudgingly allowed me to buy more yarn since we just got back from DFW Fiber Fest the week before. And I bought a whole, thing of yarn at that one, which, let me tell you guys, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. So the yarn that I bought for the Find Your Fade, I am actually going to utilize for, this is going into Q, the Hoge Locatelli Fading Points wrap that she released here a couple weeks ago. I saw that and fell in love, and I messaged Logan, and I was like, do you see these yarns in this? And he was just like, well, it's a fade, so yeah. It'll work. Like, oh yeah, duh. I don't know why I was having I was just having a moment of self-doubt in my choices. And
well, and when I saw the pattern for the shrug that she's talking about, I knew. Not only did I think that Gal would enjoy knitting it, because I felt like that was very much in her wheelhouse of things that you would want to knit, I could also see you wearing it.
Yeah.
I could picture in my mind you wearing that shrug and looking so good in it.
Aw, thanks.
And I was like, she just has to know about this pattern, even if you don't knit it right now.
Those loose flowy things.
Yeah, I could just picture you wearing it, and then I also knew that it was something that you would enjoy knitting as well.
Yeah. So it's like another version of the What the Fade, but in shawl.
Which I like the fact that you've decided to do the Hoge Locatelli wrap instead, because I think because you're doing an Andrea Mowry right now, and then the shrug seems so similar to that, and I don't know how the not what is it? Find Your Fade that you were originally going to do. I don't know how similar it is, but maybe just getting away from the Andrea Mowry-ish, just having like a break and doing a Hoge Locatelli.
Because like I want to do all of Andrea Mowry's patterns, y'all.
They're gorgeous.
I really want to do the So Faded Comfy cardigan. I want to do that.
I want to do the rose Cardi, but it's super intimidating to me. The
and I already have the yarn for the baubles. Baubles I'm finding very intimidating because there's been some corrections on the pattern already. And so I'm kind of wanting to let that one sit until all of the
erratas
are fixed. Exactly. Yeah. And then finally in acquisitions, Kitten found me this spin-off magazine that is like all things spinning related. So I am super excited. I just got this yesterday, so I haven't really had a chance to go through it. But you guys, I wanted to show you front cover. Yeah. I don't know if you can see these.
These are totally like Sleeping Beauty type spinning wheels. Like they're totally fairy tale.
Stinking gorgeous. They're so expensive. There's no way I'll ever be able to afford them. But I one day might get one. Yeah. Way on down in the future.
You got some makeup?
I got some makeup issues.
Yeah, that happens. We got rained on earlier, too. Yeah. I had it over my head like this in the rain, and everybody's saying I look like a little Russian grandma. Because I have my cardigan over my head.
Calling her Russian grandma.
We were going through, like, there's actual caves, and so we were, like, climbing rocks and stuff, and it started to rain, so I put my sweater over my head, and my husband was like, hey, little Russian grandma, where you going?
And I'm like, there's like no air circulating in this cabin right now.
No, and we have these lights on us and everything, and we didn't want to open the window because it is raining and there's a street right here, so you
get a lot of road noise too, so we decided against it. But yeah, spin off.
I was at Barnes and Noble and I was looking at the knitting magazines and stuff, and this was the only one I saw that had to do with spinning, and so I texted her a picture of the cover to see if she would be interested in it.
And I was like, spinning magazine.
I thought it seemed pretty cool. It talks about doing YouTube videos about spinning and stuff like that.
Which I couldn't find that article when I was looking for it last night, so it's in here somewhere.
It's a lie. It's all a lie.
It's a lie. So those are my acquisitions. What are your acquisitions? Talk to us about the bag.
I just had 2. I'll start with like the kind of boring one, but it was really needed, but it's kind of boring. So when I blocked the front of the first panel of the Puck's tunic, it's just a big rectangle, and I just use sewing pins with like the little colored like ball on the top. And I had to use almost my whole box of those, and it was kind of a pain. So I decided to go ahead and get the knit blockers from Knitter's Pride. And they come in this really nice plastic box. Like, I wasn't expecting, like, the nice box.
Like a legit way to store
things. Like an actual storage. And then there's just these plastic with the pins down here. And there's 12, I think, of these, or maybe 8. I don't remember how much it said. I'm not...
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
12. No?
11?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I can't count.
But you probably didn't count the one I had in my hand, I bet.
We're going to go with that. I don't think that's what
And then there's definitely 8 of the smaller ones. I could tell right off. So yeah, I think these will just be so much better when you're doing sweaters and things like that, just to have these big blocks. I'm hoping. I'll see. But doing one pin at a time, I had to use like 20 of them, and it was annoying.
So it says right here, 12 of the big ones and 8 of the little ones.
There you go.
So, there we go.
Read the box.
Knitter's Pride.
Yes.
Yeah, well.
So yeah, like I said, this is not like boring, but very useful, and I think that it'll just make it easier for me to block. So I don't have to use
she was telling me about all these little pins that she was having to... She should have taken a picture of all.
I should have.
I'm sure all of you guys that have done like shawls and everything have run into this where you have like all these little pins.
I was just like so annoyed because I swear I had to use like 30 because I didn't really go into this with the with the Pugs tunic, but I knit a size bigger than I thought I would need, just because, like, I wouldn't have, based on just the measurements, I wouldn't have thought I needed that size. But they had a picture and they stated what size they made for that, what size that girl was wearing, and that girl was more slender than myself. And so I went a size up from that. And I would not have thought I would have needed that size. So that's the size I knit. And I bound off too tightly. And I even intentionally tried to bind off loosely, and I didn't do it loose enough, I guess. So when I was blocking, I had to block pretty aggressively, and not just the top, which I think I'm going to use that panel for the back since it won't have to go across my bust. So maybe having it not as wide will work better for the back. I don't know. But even the rest of it, I had to block pretty aggressively to get it to the measurements that it was supposed to be. I think I'm maybe a 1/2 inch off still.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. I'm not too worried about it in the bust and the waist. My measurements are larger on my hips than my bust. But the way it seamed is you actually leave the bottom part open. You don't seam it all the way down. So I can allow for that.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, which I really liked. That was part of the reason. That was one of the things I liked about the pattern, is that because I have wider hips than my bust, I could leave that. It was intentionally left open so it wouldn't be really tight. I think it'll be okay, especially if I remember to bind off very loosely.
Yeah.
So I was using a lot of pins because I had to make sure everything was stretched out as far as it could go without it affecting the lace pattern. You don't want it to distort that lace.
Right.
So I was putting pins everywhere because I didn't want little points, you know, where I wasn't using pins. So I was using a lot of pins. And so, just in the event that I was going to have to do that with the next piece, I just thought those blockers would be better. But I am, because I've said before, I don't like to gauge, and I don't think I gauged when I knit this. So I am knitting a little bit more loosely on this panel.
See what happens.
I think it'll be okay. I really do, because my problem is always whether it's going to be tight around my hips. Because there's a difference between the top and the bottom. But I think the way you seam it, I think it'll be okay. Because I don't mind if it's a little tighter around the bust. I just don't want it to be tight around my midsection.
Yeah.
I don't like that. So anyway, back to acquisitions. So I got those, and then this is a fun one. I too bought some yarn. Let's see, we got back from Fiberfest on a Sunday, and on Tuesday I ordered yarn from Etsy.
She sends me a text and she goes, "What is wrong with me? I just ordered some more yarn."
I was like, "What is wrong? I bought all this yarn," and then I'll tell you why, but I'll show you what I got first. So this is from Goosey Fibers, and it says "Good for the Gander." And this is off of Etsy, and it's lace weight, and I think it's about 975 yards. It's 2-ply, and it's 100% superwash merino, and it's in the colorway I Wear the Required Uniform, which is from the Breakfast Club. She has Breakfast Club colorways. And it's so pretty. I like it. Yeah. It's my my usual like colors, but usually I want them separate and they're all together. The reason I bought this is I bought lace weight yarn from Round Table Yarns, that kind of Merlot burgundy color, because I wanted to make the featherweight cardigan.
Right.
I didn't buy the pattern, and I don't know why I didn't just buy it at the time, but it kind of had contradictory yardage requirements, because I knew what size I probably would need. And in one part it said for this size you would need this, and in another part it said you would need this. And I don't know why I didn't buy the pattern at that time, just to make sure. And I didn't, and so I bought it after the fact, and I was not going to have enough lace weight yarn in the Round Table yarn that I bought. Yeah. So I did find another cardigan that I'm going to use for the Round Table yarn, but I still wanted to knit the featherweight.
Yeah.
What do? You buy more lace weight yarn. So I'm going to knit the featherweight in this one, which I think will be really pretty.
You guys, we have a yarn buying problem.
Yeah, we do. And then I'm going to use the other cardigan that I found was I think it's called the Simplicity cardigan. I think I'll put it in the show notes. I'm going to use the Round Table yarns for that one. Nice. It's what it says. It's just a simple, I think it's 3/4 length sleeve. It's a little bit longer in the front than it is the back, but it's kind of a shorter cardigan. Just something you would throw on maybe over
so it's a high-low
little summer dress or something like that, but it's lace weight, so it's not going to be warm exactly, but I like that type of thing. So yeah, I bought this, and it's pretty, and I will use it. It says Goosey Filigrie. I think that's what her lace weight is called, is Goosey Filigrie. But yeah, cute. Yeah. So those are the two things that I got.
So were you talking about all of your Q projects in that? Is that what I got from that? Did we both talk about our Q,
Actually, those are in my Q, but they're
down the line?
Down the line, because I think...
I'm so sorry, you guys.
It's okay. That's how I was a few weeks ago. I want to get my Puck's tunic done, and then I'll continue working on my Flora Cardi. But I do want to cast on something new. Mm-hmm. But I also still have two projects that I've been working on for a while, which are the Prima Leg Warmers by the Sexy Knitter and the Wonder Woman Shawl by Carissa Browning. Those are the ones that I still have in hibernation. Mm-hmm. And I think the leg warmers will be pretty, if I just sit and work on them, I think they would go pretty fast. Mm-hmm. Because I'm almost done with the first one, and then I'll just have to do the second one. But I really want to cast on something new, and I'm in the mood for a shawl. So I was like, I'll do the Second Avenue by Amy Miller. Yeah. Because I bought some of the yarn at Fiberfest for that. Right. But then I'm kind of like, if I want to do a shawl, just finish the Wonder Woman. Correct my mistakes, figure out whatever I need to do to fix it, and then just do that.
Because you were so excited to work on the Wonder Woman shawl.
But then I really want to do the Second Avenue. And I think the Second Avenue will take a long time. Yeah. Now it is working with 5 different yarns and doing 5 different patterns, so it won't get real boring.
Get redundant.
But it's going to take a while. So that was going to be next in my queue when I finished Puck's Tunic, because I was going to allow myself to cast on something new with my new yarn. Mm-hmm. But now I'm just wondering if I should try to finish the Wonder Woman shawl and then just cast on my stripy socks with my new yarn or something like that. So we'll see. I don't know. Probably next podcast I'll have it'll be a whip. Whatever I've decided will be a whip at that point, I think.
We'll find out next time.
Do you have anything in your queue? Well, you talked about your,
Yeah, so I want to do the Fading Points by Hoge Locatelli, and I want to do the Shusui Shrug by Susanne Sommers. That one is so easy to remember the name of. And I hope I said that right, because if not, that's just foolish. But yeah, I'm wanting to get started on one, if not both of those projects, since I've got the yarn for both of them, and I'm really looking forward to starting them. I still have, once I finish this guy, 2 works in progress that are kind of hibernating, the Knit Night Shawl and the Long Weekend Cardi. I really just need to finish that Long Weekend Cardi. Like, just sit down and get it done.
Well, but, I mean, just have a goal to, like, get it done by fall. Because that's when you're going to wear it.
That's true.
You're not going to wear it between now
it's too,
whenever.
It's
like,
too late.
I'm almost hot, like, wearing this sweater.
Yeah.
So, just have a goal to get it done by fall.
That was my goal last year, was to get it done by fall, though.
Well, make it for real.
Yeah.
Write it down. That's what I did. I wrote down, like, socks, Puck's tunic, Wonder Woman shawl, leg warmers, and then you get that wonderful feeling of, like, crossing it off.
No, part of me just wants to be done with it. It's been such an ongoing, like, I've got a whole project bag, like a big project bag with this guy.
How much more do you have? A lot?
No, I just have the arms and the neckband, and that's it. I mean, it's really not a whole heck of a lot. I think I could get it done in, like, a month. If I'm not working on it wholeheartedly.
Right.
I should be able to get it done. It's just a matter of making myself do it. So
just say, I say just say you're going to have it done by fall so you can wear it. And then that way there's a deadline, but there's not a bunch of pressure to have it done.
I think that's a good way to do it. So we'll plan on having that one done by fall. Yeah. So do you have any other things you want to talk about today?
I don't think so. Just we'll announce the winner of the sock cow next time.
Which will be in 2 weeks.
Yes. We're back on our 2-week schedule, and we'll be in our regular recording place by then.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining us again on yet another adventure.
Yes.
We really appreciate the feedback that we get from you guys and the follows that we get on Instagram. The words of love that we get there. It's just great. So make sure to follow us on Instagram and Ravelry particularly. And again, we do have a Twitter account. If you liked us, make sure to give us a like down below because it helps other people find us. And we hope that you subscribe and come back next time because we really enjoyed having you guys here today. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below because we always love to respond to those. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you again in episode 9.
Bye. Happy knitting.
Happy knitting.